Part 20. National Games Online Game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 191. After the meal, Jeff walked out of the City Lord's mansion satisfied. His mission this time has been completed, and he has also obtained the right to use the City Lord's materials, and I don't know how many people will envy him. And as he left the City Lord's mansion, the news that Gongsun was leaving tomorrow also spread. What, the City Lord is leaving tomorrow? It's only been back for 2 days, why do you have to leave again? Alas, the City Lord is a busy man, so we don't have to worry about it, but I don't know when the City Lord will come back next. Yes, I finally met a good City Lord, but I was so busy every day, it was too hard. Although I don't know what the City Lord is going to do, but I heard that the City Lord is going out this time, and I want to pray for the City Lord, and pray that the City Lord is safe and returns as soon as possible. The City Lord must also be for our development, right? No matter, do any of you know when the City Lord will leave tomorrow? Count me in. This time I came to Thousand Cave City to see the City Lord. I didn't expect that I was going to leave as soon as I arrived at the City Lord today, and I had to give the City Lord a ride tomorrow. And me. In the Thousand Cave City, the news of Gongsunli soon spread all over the streets and alleys. The streets came alive in an instant. Originally, everyone came to see Gongsunli, but now, it is good to be able to see Gongsunli. There are even lanterns and lanterns hanging up in some streets and alleys, and everyone is arranging them in a hurry, wanting to let Gongsun take a look at the current prosperity of the city before leaving tomorrow. These are all self-organized by the traders who live here temporarily. Gongsun is now under the command of 3 cities, the taxes are low, and the income of the traders is far greater than before, so they are all doing their best. The same is true for those ordinary people, whose quality of life has improved by I don't know how many times. They all joined in spontaneously. The entire Thousand Cave City was instantly busy. And Gongsunli was playing with children in the City Lord's mansion at this time. I'm going to leave tomorrow, and according to the location shown on the map, this time I'll have to waste at least 10 or 20 days on the road. And it's calculated according to your own speed. My lord, the city is now. Gongsunli sat in the main hall, and Xianjitsi and Gongtu stood below to report to Gongsunli about the current situation in the city. Gongsunli couldn't help but shake his head when he heard this. She had planned to sneak away by herself, but now, obviously, it was impossible. Although she could have ignored it and walked away, the people in the city would definitely feel sad. Therefore, Gongsunli felt that it was necessary for him to leak a face tomorrow. The next day, while Gongsunli was still asleep, he was woken up by a noisy sound outside. On the other side of the bed, Yao and Nanan were still asleep, and Gongsunli turned over and got up by himself. Fortunately, there is no more phenomenon that drove her crazy yesterday. Get up and go. Gongsunli finished tidying up, woke up the 2 little girls, and then walked out of the room directly. Your Excellency. Gina had been waiting outside the door for a long time, and as soon as Gongsunli came out, she greeted her, waiting to take Gongsun away for breakfast. Your Excellency. Soon, Jeff and Xianjitsi and others also appeared. Jeff has changed out of his dirty clothes today, but he looks much thinner. Obviously, the spirit is not so good. And Suanjaizi, an ordinary old human man, who doesn't look much different from Jeff. I thought in my heart that after I came back from Jixia Academy this time, I would go to get some life spring water and come back. After all, these people do a lot of help to themselves, and in the future, they will use more places. It's all strange people, it's gone, but it's hard to find. My lord, now the outside of the house is crowded, all the way to the gate of the city, it is full of people, all of them heard that you left today and came to see you off, and we can't disperse it. It may be noisy to rest. Suanjiza stepped forward and announced. Gongsunli shook his head indifferently. Then he concentrated on breakfast, and soon after, Nan Nan and Yao also came over. At the same time, on the heavenly road outside the Thousand Cave City, the news that Gongsunli was leaving today had also spread. Foskey and Malin looked at the Thousand Cave City close at hand, and their hearts were bitter. There are so many people that you can't get in at all. Moreover, before she saw Gongsunli, she was about to leave again. William's eyes also flashed with pity. But there is nothing to be done. In front, there are already guards out to manage the order. Several people had to stand on the side of the road with the crowd, hoping to take a look at Gongsunli for a while. As for breaking in, I'm sorry, in front of Gongsunli, these pioneers don't have the courage to do so now. What's more, the towers on the city walls, which are as dense as trees, are not vegetarians. All right, let's go. In the city lord's mansion, Gongsunli wiped his mouth after eating, and stretched out his hand to take the girl. This time, Nan Nan is a mount, and after Yao transforms, Gongsunli really has no idea of letting Yao be a mount. It just so happens that Nan Nan is not only huge, but also very fast, and also pulls the wind. These cities will be handed over to you these days. Gongsunli glanced at a few people, picked up the girl and walked out. On the continent outside the city lord's mansion, people have long been looking forward to it. There are those with flowers in their hands, and there are also those with various foods, which at first glance are prepared for Gongsunli. Why haven't you come out yet? Aren't you eating? I also brought a few eggs for the city lord to eat on the way. Ha ha ha, I prepared buns for the city lord, and I got up this morning to make them, and the city lord will definitely like them. This gate hasn't been opened yet, and I don't know what the city lord is doing. Outside the city lord's mansion, a group of people were carrying large bags and small bags in their hands, looking extremely simple. Knowing that Gongsun was going out, he also prepared food this time, for fear that he would be hungry on the road. Kuth. Da 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 da. Finally, in everyone's anticipation, the gate of the city lord's mansion opened, and a pair of centaur guards ran out. Come, let one go, the city lord will come out immediately, don't block the city lord's way, delay the city lord's trip. People immediately stood on both sides of the road in an orderly manner, giving way to the middle road. The next moment, Gongsunli took Nan Nan and walked out, and Yao followed behind her. It's out. City lord. I see the city lord. Look. Ha ha ha. I also saw the city lord, and some of them will blow in the future. Silly you, don't get excited, I've seen it too. Do you see what I said? The city lord is so beautiful, and there are two princesses, who are so cute, but I haven't seen one of them. Anyway, they are all the people of the city lord, cronies, princesses, that person is absolutely beautiful and kind. Good morning, Lord Castle. Hello Lord of the city. The crowds on both sides of the road were lively. Gongsunli had a smile on his face, but he sighed in his heart, and it seemed that he could only walk outside the city and fly away. Looking at the people on the street, she was also a little happy in her heart. In other words, this is her people, how can she let them be disappointed by supporting herself like this? Anyway, it won't be much time delayed. In this way, Gongsunli walked to the main road, and then climbed on the back of the giant crocodile, and the giant crocodile carried Gongsunli towards the city gate. And the surrounding crowd had long forgotten the eggs and other food they were holding in their hands at this time, and the roadside was full of guards, and Gongsunli was on the back of a giant crocodile, so he couldn't deliver it at all. You can only cheer along with the others. On the main road of Thousand Cave City, it was full of flowers and celebrations for a while. Even people outside the city heard it. The speed of the giant crocodile was not slow, and even under control, it still quickly walked to the city gate. Gongsunli glanced at the heavenly road, and the crowd on the road couldn't see the edge, but she couldn't walk. If you go any further, it is estimated that you will have to walk along the heavenly road all the way to Bayun City. These people are too enthusiastic. In the crowd, William Foskey and the others also looked at the figure on the giant crocodile with a serious face, not knowing what they were thinking in their eyes. Everyone came together, but the gap was so big. "All right guys." Gongsunli turned his head and bent slightly at the crowd of hundreds. "I'm leaving, and if I don't leave, I'm afraid I'll be reluctant." Gongsunli made a rare joke, which immediately made everyone laugh. "When I get back, I'll see you." As soon as Gongsunli's voice fell, a golden light suddenly appeared on the Nanan beside him. Ang! The next moment, a dragon groaned, which suddenly stunned everyone. A golden dragon had already appeared above the Thousand Cave City, and Gongsunli and Yao were standing on the dragon's back. "Goodbye, everyone." The dragon turned into a golden light and rushed into the distance, leaving only Gongsunli's voice still echoing. The surrounding crowd looked at the golden light in the distance and blinked blankly. "Congratulations to my lord. Lord Zhu has a good trip. Greetings, sir." Point 0. For a while, there was another shout inside and outside the Thousand Cave City, until the golden light in the distance could no longer be seen. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 192. Gongsunli and Yao sat on Nanan's back, with a white umbrella on their lap and a map in their hands. "Look around from time to discern the direction. But I found that the scenery in the sky is so beautiful." I simply put down the map and looked at it carefully. I have to say that this environment that has not been polluted by industry is indeed very good. And the land here is sparsely populated, and a large area is lush, but the only deficiency is that Gongsunli clearly feels that there is a strong aura in the depths of some mountains. Don't think about it, those must be the so-called demon clans. And Gongsunli also found that the activities of the demon clan were a bit frequent, and she couldn't help but think of what Gongtu had told her. However, she has not yet had the time to pay attention to this. On the back, although there is some protection, the high wind still blows Gongsunli's clothes and hunts. Gongsunli was like a chivalrous woman in the nine heavens at this time, wanton and chic. It's just that she flies so high that no one notices her. So this scene can only be seen by people in the live broadcast room. The golden body of the girl looked even more majestic under the sunlight, and the luster refracted by the scale armor on her body looked full of sacred meaning. And the girl also began to be mischievous, spinning in the sky from time to time, rushing into the clouds, and then swooping out again. Occasionally, people on the earth looked up and could only see some clouds in the sky that would disperse without knowing what was going on. It has caused a lot of people to talk about it. But these women didn't care at all, and these people couldn't catch her anyway. Time flies. Slowly, the big sun on the horizon turned red, and the sun was about to set. Nan flew from morning to night, and did not rest once. And Gongsunli happened to see a large open space on the ground in front of him, and there were no cities and villages around it. Just right for camping. "Nanan, just the flat land in front, go down and rest, and spend the night here today." Gongsunli commanded and slowly stood up. She sat all day, and she was tired. In this way, the three of them rested for one night and continued on their way the next day. Half a month later, Gongsunli sat on the back of Nanan and took out the map again to confirm the location. In half a month, she has successfully entered the northwest territory of the mainland, and has reached a position close to the center. However, although the exact location of Jixia Academy has been marked on the map that day. But when it comes to the field, Gongsunli still has to look for it. Because this continent is so big, I don't know how many years ago like this map. A lot of things have changed. If it's not rigorous, you may not be able to find the right place. But even so, Gongsunli still looked at it again and again. In this northwest region, the population is even more sparse, although there is also a main city here, but it is a little far away from Gongsun from the Jixia Academy that he is looking for. And here, it also happens to be the place with the most demon clans, so generally humans will live near the main city, so the farther away from the main city, there will be fewer and fewer people. However, Gongsunli still sensed signs of life nearby. Go down, go down. After a while, Gongsunli sighed and put away the map. According to her guess, the location of Jixia should be around here. It's just that she hasn't found any clues yet. Bang. Step. A minute later, several people landed. Sister Huang. Nan Nan touched the real body and pounced directly on Gongsunli. Yao stood next to her and pouted, she had seen it in the past half a month. Just Nan, don't look at your age, you have a lot of eyes. It's going to please Gongsunli. For example, now, he is rubbing his little face there. But Gongsunli still had an expression of enjoyment. But at the same time, Gongsunli did not forget to observe the surrounding environment. It's just a wilderness. It's just that there are still a few trees swaying in the wind in the distance. It's just that the first time Gongsunli came down, he knew that he had found the right place. She clearly sensed that something was wrong here, but if you wanted to say something was wrong, it really wouldn't be clear. In short, she felt that nothing was right with every plant or tree here, such as the big tree swinging around in front of her. When there is wind, it is normal for the big tree to sway, but Gongsunli feels that something is wrong with the tree. For the branch swings in the direction of the wind. But the trunk of the tree was coming in the opposite direction of the wind. It's like a tree resisting the wind, but this tree is obviously an ordinary tree. Even the grass on the ground is the same. This scene is undoubtedly a ghost. It's strange, this place looks normal, but why do I think it's weird? In the live broadcast room, several old professors also gathered around to watch. The vision of this big tree was only discovered by Gongsunli at the first time. Let's go. Gongsunli did not hesitate, she sensed life on earth when she was in heaven. Now that I'm down, if I want to know about this place as quickly as possible, I definitely have to ask. With that, the three of them walked into the distance. After a while, according to Gongsunli's induction, finally, they came to a small village. It's just that the scene in front of them is a little creepy. Even Gongsunli was dumbfounded. Wine, ha ha ha. Knowing such a brother as you is also my creation, come. Drink. A young man was sitting on the side of the road, covered in dust and with nothing in his hands, but he held it up to his chest and made a toast. It was as if his good brother sat across from him. But there's more to it than that. Wife, slow down, pregnant with a child. An old man walked alone on the street, but he smiled and said gentle words to his side. But there was nothing around him. Come on, son, help me strike the iron. Where's my mother? Don't you know, my daughter-in-law gave birth to yesterday. The whole village, no one was spared, everyone was like that. It's normal to say what you say, but what makes people scary is that they are all talking to themselves. It's like there's someone around. This scene was transmitted to the live broadcast room, and it immediately made everyone feel creepy. Illusion. Gongsun was stunned in his heart. No. It's a dream. Zhuangzhou. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 193. Gongsunli exclaimed. Zhuangzhoumeng butterfly and void dream acting flashed in her mind. In the background of the king, Zhuangzhou, one of the three sages of Jixia Academy, is a master of dreams. Even Zhuangzhou himself is immersed in dreams all the time. And the current scene of the village in front of me is exactly like a dream. Moreover, Gongsunli did feel a special energy. This energy is not particularly powerful, but it is terrifying, and the terrifying thing is that this energy is always there. Even the nearby flowers and trees will be affected against the force of the wind. Think about it, how terrible it must be. At this moment, Gongsunli suddenly noticed a figure in the distance walking towards this village. Gongsunli was stunned for a moment. The figure was obviously even more sober. Suxing was holding a sword in his hand at this time, and his eyes were a little dull. He also walks crookedly, as if he will fall to the ground if he is not careful. Seeing Gongsun leaving, he was also beaten at his feet. He obviously didn't expect anyone to be here. It's just that he just glanced at Gongsun Li, and then turned his head away. Gongsun Li didn't see the slightest light in his eyes, as if this person was a walking corpse. Suxing walked past Gongsun Li and walked straight towards the village, but Gongsun Li heard a heavy sigh. Girl. At this moment, Suxing suddenly stopped and turned around. The awake gaze swept over the faces of Gongsun Li and the others, and his expression was a little regretful. Girl, there is no obstacle in this world that you can't get over, even if you don't think about yourself, you have to think about your children. The tone of the awakening turned out to be a bit serious. It's just that Gongsun Li listened dumbly, she didn't know why Suxing would say these words to her. But Gongsun Li knew that Suxing was moving forward, and he would immediately become the same as those people. What is this place? Thinking of this, Gongsun left the mouth and asked, she didn't know what she was doing here. Although she knew that Jixia was nearby, this place was so evil that it was probably not an unknown place. When Suxing heard Gongsun Li's words, his expression changed suddenly. Little girl, go back quickly, I don't even know what place this is, where are the adults in your family? Suxing looked at Gongsun Li, and guessed that Gongsun Li and the others should also be big families. But when I woke up and thought about it, it didn't seem to have much to do with him. Anyway, he was about to be lost, so he couldn't help but smile self-deprecatingly, turned around, and continued walking towards the village. However, he still did not forget to urge Gongsun Li to go back quickly. Go back quickly, this place is not from people like you. You haven't told me what this place is. Gongsun Li still asked unrelentingly. The speed under his feet suddenly slowed down a little, and he slowly raised the sword in his hand and pointed at the people in front of him who had lost their minds and said, The Lost Land, if you enter here, don't think about going out without great supernatural powers. Little girl, you seem to be a big family, here, there are all poor people, you better not join in the fun, go back quickly. After waking up, he put down the sword in his hand again, and at the same time, he was also slandering in his heart. This place should be a place for those of us who are homeless, who want to die and don't have the courage to come. I'm afraid that the children of a big force like this will never come here for a few lifetimes. Thinking about what Gongsun Li was wearing, Suxing shook his head helplessly. Then, he stepped into the village. Gongsun watched as he woke up and became a walking dead like everyone else. No wonder it's sparsely populated. A hint of clarity flashed in Gongsun Li's eyes, and she understood now. This place, in this northwestern region, is probably called ominous, and people will lose their minds as soon as they enter. It's just that this place is relatively far away from the southern region where I am located, so I haven't heard of it. At this time, the barrage in the live broadcast room was already dense. It was all caused by Gongsun Li saying the word Zhuangzhou Mendi just now. The name Zhuangzhou is not unfamiliar to the people of Xiaguo. Zhuangzhou, there is another name in the Xia kingdom, that is Zhougong. Dream interpretation, but here, the dream seems to overlap with the real world. Once again, it makes people feel that the intimacy between this second home and the real world before is probably really unusual. Otherwise, how could it be possible that so many well-known big names in Xia Kingdom would appear here? It's just that Gongsunli won't answer these questions. At this time, she took Yao and Nanan, and walked directly into the village when the discussion in the live broadcast room was surging. The audience in the live broadcast room was suddenly silent, looking at Gongsunli extremely nervously. After all, I just got a fool out of it right under my nose. But Gongsunli didn't seem to have any effect, and Yao didn't seem to have any effect. After all, the two of them know Zhuangzhou's strength, and with their current skills, as long as they pay attention to a little, they will not have any impact at all. But what Gongsunli didn't expect was that Nan Nan had an impact. Imperial sister. As soon as she entered the village, she let go of Gongsunli's hand, and then walked forward alone in a daze. This stunned Gongsunli. What do you mean? You're a dragon, how can you be so susceptible? Looking at Nanan's small figure staggering forward, Gongsunli only felt that his head was full of black lines. This girl, how can she be afraid of these things? What's more, the dream is still left here for I don't know how many years. Not to mention that it can affect the baby. She just didn't have any defense, and she was stunned for a while. Thinking of this, Gongsunli was not worried about the safety of Nanan. But Yao giggled behind Gongsunli. It's really funny that the little man is confused now. The most important thing is that even in a dream, she is calling Gongsunli. Looking at that, I don't know what indescribable dreams I have made. Seeing this, Gongsunli hurriedly took 2 steps forward and picked up Nanan. She was afraid that she would say something that would embarrass her. Hey, little confused, wake up quickly, these things are useless to you. Gongsunli pinched Nanan's little face, with a gentle expression. Now Nanan's expression is too quiet, and when she is awake, it is simply 2 people. Seeing that there was no movement, Gongsun couldn't help but feel a little more powerful in his hand. Suddenly, Nan Nan was in pain and frowned. Huh! Sister Huang. The next moment, Nan Nan opened her eyes directly, and looked at Gongsunli in confusion, not knowing what was going on. Gongsunli saw that Nanan woke up, and nodded her forehead angrily. You little fellow, how can you not pay attention here? Suddenly she came to her senses. People just want to dream. She wrinkled her little face. In my dream, the royal sister is kind to me. Gongsunli suddenly laughed dumbly. She didn't know what she was like in her dreams, but she didn't want to know either. Immediately hugged the girl and walked to the front. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 194. In the village, Gongsunli looked at these walking dead around him. Holding the girl and walking forward step by step. At the innermost point of the village, in front of a 2-story wooden house, Gongsunli stopped. She knew that the entrance to the Kinoshita Academy was here. Alas! Gongsunli glanced back at the various walking corpses wandering outside. He turned and stepped in. When she comes out, all these people who have sunk into the dream will surely wake up. It's just that the people who come here are obviously people who have suffered significant psychological trauma. I don't know if they won't be able to accept it when they wake up. After Gongsunli walked into the 2-story building, he found that the building was just an empty house. And in the house, it is directly the land. It's just that it's pitch black inside, and blue light flashes from time to time, which looks a little dreamy. Buzz. Buzz. The sound of a spatial vibration sounded. Gongsunli saw a blue transparent butterfly slowly flying in front of her from the side. It looks extremely beautiful, but what is shocking is that the butterfly's wings are waving, and it actually brings ripples in a circle of spatial fluctuations. It's pretty scary. Gongsunli and the 3 of them looked at the butterfly in front of them, and they were a little distracted for a while. It's as if this butterfly has the function of fascinating the mind. Gongsunli had no idea that the environment around him had quietly changed. The butterfly flew in front of Gongsunli's eyes, bringing up a blue ripple, and Gongsunli's eyes were always on its body. Listen. Suddenly, the butterfly suddenly disappeared. The entire body turned into a blue point of light and disappeared into the air. Gongsunli suddenly came back to his senses. Immediately froze in place. I saw Gongsunli's surroundings, and the scene at this time was no longer a small cabin. Rather, it is a huge square paved with blue bricks. And in the center of the square, there is also a super tall sign. Gongsunli looked at the sign, and his pupils shrank suddenly. She recognized it, and this was the hallmark of the Yakushita Academy. Thinking of the butterfly just now, Gongsunli couldn't help but lose his mind a little. Zhuangzhou. It's amazing. Gongsunli's heart trembled. Indeed, she couldn't be confused if she didn't check it for a while. And the audience in the live broadcast room was also in a cold sweat at this time. The impression of all of them was only when the blue butterfly appeared just now. But the next moment, I don't know why I suddenly saw Gongsunli appear in such a large square. How did Gongsunli get in? No. No, I saw a butterfly, and then I don't remember. Oh my God. The matter of the second home can affect all of us through the live broadcast room. Dream. Didn't Gongsunli say it? Dream, did we almost fall into a dream just now? Stop, I'm scared. What do you mean? So we almost became the same people in the village of Nago just now, almost like them. Exaggerated, right? You see that Gongsun is fine. It's really scary. You have to be careful when watching a live broadcast in the future. Forget it, let's take a good look at what Gongsunli is going to do now. How did she get in? The audience in the live broadcast room began to have some fear in their hearts. Although his eyes were still looking at the live broadcast screen, his body was unconsciously leaning back. It's really scary. It's the first time this has happened to affect the real world through the screen in the live broadcast room. Think about it, if the dream just now was real, wouldn't it be that all the people in the entire Xia kingdom would fall into an unconscious dream in an instant? At that time, what is the difference between being destroyed and being destroyed? Including those foreign viewers who have stayed in the Xiaguo live broadcast room. At this time, they also withdrew from the Xiaguo live broadcast room. They were scared. However, all this that happened in Xiaguo's live broadcast room spread quickly. It caused a huge sensation in the Blue Star. Could it be that the world passage is going to be opened? Otherwise, how can it affect the real world for no reason? It's really weird. In the past, even if you fought inside, it wouldn't be fine. I think it's the reason for the magic, the dream. It's really mysterious. Do you think Gongsunli will harm all the Xia people at once? I think it's possible. If all the people of Xia Kingdom enter the dream realm, it will be fun. On the internet, many people are discussing, but no one dares to mention going to the Xiaguo live broadcast room to find out. In the live broadcast room of Xiaguo, it is rare that only his own people are left. Although it's all hard to look at again. And Gongsunli had already walked around the square of Jixia Academy at this time. Nothing was found, so Gongsunli had no choice but to set his sights on the depths of the academy. She knew that there was a place in this academy that was known as the closest to the sky. However, as Gongsunli walked around the academy, the real-world Xiaguo audience was shocked again. Because the size of this school is completely beyond the imagination of all of them. It's really awesome, this academy is bigger than our school. Great. Hee, haven't you heard Gongsunli say it? Jixia Academy, the highest institution of learning in the whole continent. What kind of concept is this? I don't know how many times bigger than Blue Star, the #1 academy in the continent. The most amazing thing is that it doesn't seem to learn knowledge, but to learn to fight. What a cow! How strong should the students of this school be? Zhuangzhou. Zhuangzhou seems to be from this academy. I don't know what level Zhuangzhou belongs to in the school. In the live broadcast room, people forgot the horror brought by the dream just now for a while, and began to discuss it again. Fortunately, Gongsunli couldn't hear the words of these people, otherwise he would have felt ridiculous. Jixia Academy, this school, is really unusual. It's just a teacher or a student, and it's all a cow to pull it out. Gongsunli was walking towards the stargazing platform. Stargazing platform, where Zhuangzhou practiced and slept every day. It is said to be the closest to the sky, and Yao's star power was obtained when he participated in Zhuangzhou's dream performance of returning to the ruins at the stargazing platform. It can be said that Yao's strength depends entirely on the power of the stars, which is enough to imagine the importance of this stargazing platform. Gongsunli felt that if there was a secret, it must be at the stargazing platform. No one is allowed to go up to this place. And now, just a few jumps, and even the stairs are useless, and they are on the stargazing platform. National Games Online Game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 195. At this time, on the stargazing platform, the power of dreams escaped. The entire observatory looks blue. Up, it's the starry sky, as if you can pluck the stars with your hand. Gongsunli was in the middle of it, looked around, but found nothing. In desperation, Gongsunli could only focus on those school buildings and other school buildings. However, the school is too big. An hour later, in the main building of the academy, there was a huge room. It looks like a conference room. Gongsunli walked in with Nan Nan and Yao. Sister Ali. Yao called softly, and she clearly felt the difference in this room. Gongsunli naturally noticed it. So he led the two of them directly to the innermost wall of the room. On the wall, there is an oversized painting. Whoa! Gongsun didn't say a word, and directly ripped off the painting. Buzz! And the moment I tore off the painting, what was hidden behind it was revealed. A large blue mang directly covered all three of them. Even the picture in the live broadcast room is the same, directly filling the screen with blue light. It's like a science fiction movie, but it's real. Finally, after a few minutes, the blue light began to slowly soften, and the brightness was also decreasing little by little. Gongsunli can already see that the wall in front of him is actually a door that doesn't know what material it is. On the gate, there are countless mysterious lines, and the blue light flows along the mysterious lines as if it is alive. It looks incredibly mysterious. But these lines are not irregular, and each pattern converges in the direction of the middle of the gate. As a result, the closer you get to the middle, the denser the veins become, and the more intense the blue glow becomes. Gongsunli looked at the lines, and his eyes narrowed slightly. Because she found that in the middle of this gate, there was a groove. And the lines around the grooves were very familiar to her. The next moment, the arc core had appeared in her hand. The core of the arc has lost its luster since the time it was on the Great Wall, but the patterns on it are all there. Moreover, the size of the core of the arc was obviously the same as the size of the groove in the middle of the gate. Click. Footsteps sounded, and Yao and Nanan unconsciously took 2 steps back. They knew that the core of the arc was the key that opened the door. And at the other end of the gate is another world where the true God exists. In the live broadcast room, the audience's expressions were also a little sluggish. It's that easy, just find the door to another dimension. Do you want to open it? There is a true God. Definitely yes. Li Xian is still inside. Do you think Gongsunli should save them? But there is a God. What kind of world law did you forget last time? How terrifying that God is. The most important thing is that we don't know how many true gods there are. No, if the true God really came out of this door, wouldn't that mean that the second home is about to change greatly? Yes, but we haven't gone to the second home yet. Doesn't that mean that when the world passage opens, isn't we, the blue star, also the place of true God? No. You can't open this door. This will endanger the lives of all people in the world. Do you Xia Kingdom want us to take risks? Can't open. Absolutely can't open, even if our goddess Athena is inside, it can't be opened. I'm afraid that if the door is opened, Gongsun will be in danger. In the live broadcast room, the audience was very nervous at this time. The audience in Xia Kingdom is worried about the safety of Gongsunli, but foreigners are worried that the true God will break their current life. Don't talk about the true God, let's just say that the current vanguard is enough for them to look up to, and if the true God comes, they are even more afraid. Especially for those who pursue freedom, letting others ride on their heads is undoubtedly the most aggrieved. But the decision is not in their hands. Click. Gongsunli directly raised his hand and put the core of the ark inside. Woo! Suddenly, a voice sounded like a whimper. On the gate, the blue light that originally followed the lines towards the middle actually stopped. Then, he went backwards at a faster pace. Slowly, all the lines on the door turned blue. The level of complexity is like a formation. Boom. At the same time, outside the Kinoshita Academy, the second home. Suddenly there was a shocking thunderclap in the sky. I'm going, why is it thundering on this sunny day? What's? Do you feel anything change? No, what's wrong? The second home, the entire continent, no matter how far away from Jixia, heard that loud noise. Even Kiyao City and Thousand Cave City heard it. Xianjitsi ran out of the city lord's mansion in a panic, looked up at the sky, and kept muttering in his mouth, not knowing what he was saying. But the expression looked extremely solemn. In Baiyun City, Gongtu was also looking at the sky, and he clearly felt that something was going to change in this world. But I'm not sure. But I don't know why, Gongsun Li's figure will appear in his mind. Does it have anything to do with adults? Gongtu thought, and then shook his head again. How is it possible, my lord goes to the northwest, and the east of that place can't be transmitted here? Situations like this are happening at the same time in various parts of the continent. But the most panicked ones belong to those pioneers who came from the real world. Because they have already received a message from the state to themselves. The reason for the loud noise just now was because Gongsun Li opened the gate of the gods. God, hearing this word, many pioneers have been frightened, and their heads seemed to be down. Unconsciously looked in the northwest direction. But there was no vision in the sky. Buzz. When Gongsun left in front of him, the gate trembled and made a slight noise. It's obviously going to be opened. Squeak. In the middle of the gate, a white light suddenly appeared from top to bottom. Gongsun Li's eyes widened instantly. She knew that where was the light, it was a gap in the door that opened, and this gap was obviously constantly expanding. Gongsun Li could already feel a magnificent force coming from this gap. Suddenly, Gongsun Li's pupils constricted. Whoosh. When I saw a shattered blade fly out of the crack and stick straight into the roof of the house. If Gongsun Li hadn't dodged quickly, it would have penetrated her body. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 196. This scene also scared the people in the live broadcast room. Tick. The blade of the sword stuck in the roof was still dripping with blood. It is conceivable that on the other side of this gate, I am afraid that there is an extremely tragic killing going on. Others don't know, but Gongsun Li can guess. This must be a war between kings and heroes. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but look in the direction of the gate. The door, by this time a third of the way open. Even Gongsunli could already hear the shouts coming from the other side of the gate. She wanted to go straight through the gate, but it still had a membrane blocking her, just like the last time she was at the wall. She couldn't get in. However, the situation inside the door is gradually becoming clearer. As the door opened, the white light inside the door gradually faded, revealing the scene inside. Inside the gate, there are blue armored soldiers everywhere you enter, like a tide, dense, and you can't see the edge at a glance. Gongsunli saw a familiar figure in it at a glance. For example, the three sages under Jixia, the old master held the cane in his hand, and the blue armored soldiers in front of him disappeared in pieces under the cane. Gongsunli couldn't help but be surprised when he saw it. The old master deserved to be known as the strongest human being. At this time, Motzi was like a war machine, constantly being shot out by air cannons. And Zhuangzhou was about the same as the two of them at this time, with a huge kun under his buttocks, and he wanted to wake up as if he hadn't woken up, but there was still no blue armored soldier who could get close to him. The other heroes are fighting behind these three. However, Gongsunli's brows furrowed. Because she discovers that these heroes are not as powerful as she imagined. In her imagination, these heroes should kill the blue armored soldiers, and they should kill a large number of them with their hands. But now, it's a bit hard to kill. Moreover, if it is said that the better the hero's skin, the stronger the strength, now these heroes are all original skins. Could it be that the world still suppresses heroes? Gongsunli muttered. She naturally wouldn't believe that the strength of these heroes was these. After all, she had seen Li Xian and Hou Yi, and that Yao Tian's technique was so magical. So these heroes can't be so weak, and if there is only one reason that can be explained, that is suppression. Otherwise, these heroes themselves would have been killed long ago. Sister Huang, look. Suddenly, Gongsunli's ears came with an exclamation, but Nan Nan's next sentence made Gongsunli feel like he wanted to vomit blood. Look. Brother-in-law is there. She jumped up on the ground and pointed to the inside of the door. As if he was afraid that Gongsunli would not be able to see it. Gongsunli was immediately full of black lines. What brother-in-law? Still, she looked in the direction of Nanan's finger. On top of a tall tower, the demonic Li Xian at this time was standing there like a troll. And behind him, it was Hou Yi, and at this time Hou Yi was still holding a person in his arms. Although it was far away, Gongsun recognized it as Chang Yi at a glance. Presumably that broken tower is the Tower of the Sun, right? Gongsun centrifugal instantly understood that the tower where Li Xian was standing at this time was full of ruins and broken walls, and he remembered what Hou Yi had said before to save Chang Yi. It must have run away. However, at this time, Hou Yi and Li Xian were still the same skin as when they entered. It's just that the two of them are already covered with blood at this time, and they don't seem to be in such a good state. Brother-in-law. We're here. Suddenly, Nan Nan jumped and waved her hand. I don't know if it was the voice of the girl who came in, or if it was because the door was opened and the people inside were alarmed. At this time, everyone's eyes looked in the direction of Gongsunli. Ali. Gongsunli. We're saved. Sure enough, the door was opened, and I knew that Ali would not let me down. Inside the gate, the morale of those heroes instantly rose a little. At this time, the live broadcast room was also full of voices. All of them are superhuman beings. Oh my god. I seem to have seen the legendary Neza just now. It's. What the hell is going on? Not only that, I just saw a woman who could drop an ice blade out of thin air. Is it to open the door? Is it to let these people out? This. It's terrifying, isn't it? It's amazing. That short girl can blow people into the air with a fan in her hand. This. All kinds of extraordinary powers, as well as the power of technology. It's really exciting. It's even more surprising than the movies I've seen. No wonder. No wonder these people dare to fight against the true gods. So strong. In the live broadcast room, all the Blue Star people were shocked by the scene in front of them. But they don't know that what they see now is not the highest combat power of heroes. Because that's not enough. Not to mention against the so-called true god. Even if you kill it from here, you may not be able to complete it. Kill one person in 10 steps. Huh. A silver sword light flashed, and immediately, the blue armored soldier fell to the ground. A young man dressed in white appeared in the closest place to Gongsun. The young man's left hand is still holding a wine gourd, looking chic and uninhibited. This is exactly Li Bai. Thank you so much for coming to our rescue. Li Bai looked at Gongsunli, and a smile appeared on his face. Even if he was surrounded by blue armor, it didn't seem to make him pay attention to it. The next moment, his figure disappeared again. However, out of thin air, a few thunderbolts fell, killing all the blue-armored soldiers who pounced. This scene caused a scream in the live broadcast room. I have to say that even if it is Li Bai's original skin, his charm is very great. Gongsunli pursed his lips disdainfully, and played handsome tricks on her head. In fact, she is envious to death, but unfortunately, if she is handsome now, she will only attract those men. But she can almost guess it now. These heroes can't be killed. She remembered Li Bai's last look at herself just now. It seems to mean something else. It's just that she doesn't know it yet. Suddenly, Gongsun Li's eyes schemed into the space inside the door, and a blue figure suddenly appeared in the sky. Suddenly, the pupils constricted. Nuwa. Gongsun couldn't help but shudder. She didn't know that these heroes were Nuwa Pangu and Athena. At this time, Nuwa stood above the void, like a master, which was daunting. And the audience in the live broadcast room, after hearing Gongsun Li shout the word Nuwa, everyone went down. Nuwa, this reputation is no stranger to all Blue Star people. This is the existence of human beings in the myths and legends of the Xia kingdom. Now you tell me, the true god represents Nuwa. What to do with Nuwa? The audience didn't know that the pillar of light that attacked Gongsun Li was emitted by Nuwa. But this did not prevent them from being shocked. But at this moment, something happened that made them even more dumbfounded. Whoosh! A green cold light broke through the sky and flew towards Nuwa. Nuwa's figure disappeared in an instant, avoiding the cold light. Boom! But the cold light did not disappear, but swirled in the place where Nuwa had just been. Mulan. Gongsun Li recognized it at a glance. It was Mulan's dagger, but it was Rui Linzi's skin. The next moment, a green figure appeared next to the dagger. In an instant, everyone was dumbfounded. What kind of person is this? Dare to make a move on Nuwa. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 197. Smack. A pair of white palms grasped the green short blade in his hand. Kuth. Then he flicked his arm back, and slammed the short blade into the scabbard on his waist. I saw that Mulan was dressed in green armor, with a high ponytail combed to the back of her head. Her face was full of determination, and her eyes were bright. Just stood in the void, staring at Nuwa, not letting it go at all. Quite a bit of a heroic gesture. At a glance, people can't help but shout that women don't let their eyebrows go. Seeing this heroic green figure, the descendants in the live broadcast room were dumbfounded. Who is she? Oh my god, love, what kind of fairy characters are these? Compared with Gongsun Li, she is a little more heroic. Woo, I'm sorry Gongsun Li. I'm in love with her. Phew, ULSP, scum, I still like Gongsun Li. It feels like she's more of a general, and for some reason, I feel an aura of iron in her. And, is that woman in blue really Nuwa? In the official live broadcast room, Huang Qi also stared at Mulan at this time, muttering in his mouth. This woman seems to be a person in the army, and she has a military spirit on her body. Yes, it's too much like a soldier. However, in addition to Mulan, what is even more surprising is that Nuwa made a man. This. What kind of world is the second home? Athena is outrageous enough, but why did the legendary Nuwa of the Xia kingdom come out? Does anyone really dare to challenge the gods? What about Athena? Why haven't you seen Athena today? At this time, the entire Blue Star was discussing what was happening in the second home. And the most outrageous thing is that almost all Blue Star people are now in Xiaoguo's live broadcast room. As for the vanguard of their own country, they have long forgotten about it now. Nuwa, one of the creator gods and one of the greatest gods of time, actually appeared in the second home, and the most terrifying thing is that there are still people who dare to fight with her. It's all clear. Have you forgotten? Hou Yi said before that the gods made wrong decisions and caused great changes in the world, so isn't that God talking about Nuwa? Oh my God, this world, it's crazy. Can humans really beat the gods? But all human beings were created by Nuwa. I find that I don't understand it more and more. What does this mean? Gongsunli is caught up in a struggle with the gods. No, it's not her, it's herself. It's herself who stands on the opposite side of the gods. It's crazy, isn't that going to affect our real world? It's a bunch of crazy people. Blue Star, at this time, has already exploded the pot. In second home, it's just getting started. Above the void, the momentum on Hua Mulan and Nuwa became stronger and stronger. But it is obvious that Nuwa is much stronger than Mulan. Buzz. Suddenly, the space shook again. By Nuwa's side, two more whirlpools appeared. The two whirlpools grew larger and larger, and immediately, a white thigh stepped out of the whirlpool on Nuwa's left. The next moment, Athena walked out of it. It still looks the same as the last time it appeared on the Great Wall, which is eye-catching and amazing. Bang! Suddenly, there was a loud noise, and the entire space seemed to tremble. Even Mulan, Nuwa, and others in mid-air were affected. Greenhouse. It's essentially a cage. There was an earth-shattering sound, like a sound from outside the sky. Shake away people's hearts. Immediately, an extremely tall figure walked out of another whirlpool. I saw that the giant was all yellow, and the upper half of his body was almost naked except for the vital parts covered by the armor. The muscles on the body give an unparalleled feeling of oppression. And in his hand, he held an axe as huge as a mountain. Pangu. Seeing the figure in front of her, Hua Mulan's whole body was shocked, and she couldn't help but take 2 steps back. It can't be helped, the momentum on its body is too compelling. Even she felt a strong pressure, like an insurmountable mountain, and she was a little breathless. Humans. There was another loud bang, and the voice of Pangu speaking was like thunder, and it was terrifying. But the feeling of superiority in the tone made people very uncomfortable. Humph. Athena and Nuwa both snorted softly, a smile leaking from the corners of their mouths. These heroes have been imprisoned in this space for tens of thousands of years. Even if they still have some strength now, it is a bit insufficient for them to recuperate for tens of thousands of years. What's more, they had thought about this day for a long time. So, those forces that have the potential to threaten them. For example, the Great Wall Guards and Wu have been divided by them. Whether the weapon will be available is yet to be known. So, they didn't pay any attention to the chaos that is happening here now. But to their surprise, someone was able to open the door here. This is something they never expected. So he couldn't help but set his eyes on Gongsunli at the door. It's just that just one glance makes Nuwa and Pangu's mood a little. Something terrible. Because in Gongsunli's body, they felt a force that they had never been in contact with. It's as if that power can drive away all the sicknesses of the world. This is disgusting to Nuwa. Human beings should be born, old, sick and die, this is the law, but in Gongsunli's body, she felt the power to destroy this law. And, to exorcise sickness, which only a god can possess, is now present in a race that is not a god, and it is a bad symbol anyway. Although this force does not seem to be complete. It was a surprise. Nuwa said lightly. But he didn't take it to heart. After all, in this world, it is impossible for these heroes to kill. It is impossible for Gongsunli to kill him. And her status as a god is not threatened. So, what if the door is open? Gongsunli, just an inconsequential person. Now, the most important thing is to clean up the chaos here first. Thinking of this, Nuwa refocused her attention on Mulan. Now the strongest are only Mulan, Houyi, and Li Xian. Houyi and Li Xian are already at the end of the crossbow, so they don't have to care. And a Mulan, in Nuwa's eyes, is just something that can be extinguished. Resolved her divine beast status and the weapon was withdrawn. All can be peaceful. Thinking of this, Nuwa glanced at Pangu and Athena. Immediately, he opened his arms, and a breath of destruction appeared in an instant. And it was at this time that Gongsunli, who had never been taken seriously by Nuwa, suddenly made a move. Guardians of the Great Wall. I only heard Gongsunli shouting at the gate. Several weapons suddenly appeared in his hand, which were the weapons of the Great Wall guards. Whoosh! Immediately afterwards, Gongsunli raised his hand and threw the weapon into the gate. Wh. The weapons flew in the air, and under the sunlight, the original dilapidated appearance slowly had a glimmer of light. National Games Online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 198. All the viewers in the live broadcast room suddenly widened their eyes in shock. For they saw that the weapons were in the air as if they were reforged. The traces left by the years on it are slowly falling, and the originally dilapidated weapons are leaking out of the terrifying edge. The second home, between the heroes who were fighting and the blue armor soldiers. Suddenly, several figures rose into the sky and went straight to the heavenly weapons. These figures are the guards of the Great Wall. However, they are now unarmed, and their weapons have been taken away when they were imprisoned. As a result, they have always been in their original form. As long as you get your weapon back, you can immediately return to the top. And this is also the purpose of letting Gongsun leave the Jixia Academy in the first place. As long as the door is opened with the heart of the ark, it will not be easy to close the gate. And as long as they get their weapons, they can kill them from inside. Especially the 5 holy beasts and the 5 mountains, these 10 people can almost be regarded as the existence of sealing combat power. On the ground, the originally tragic fighting also stopped at this moment. Everyone looked up at the figures. There's hope. Countless people's eyes narrowed slightly, watching several people get closer and closer to the weapon. I couldn't help but get excited. Bastard! Suddenly, a voice like an electronic synthesis sounded between heaven and earth. Immediately, a blue light rose out of thin air between heaven and earth, as if to imprison that heaven and earth. Nuwa's chest was rising and falling at this time, obviously angry. These weapons must not be allowed to return to their hands. Looking at the guards of the Great Wall who rushed out, Nuwa's expression was gloomy. It's a pity that even if she is fast, she can't catch up. Smack! With a crisp sound, a pair of large hands of the armor fiercely grasped the hilt of his dragon-slaying knife. The entire dragon slayer knife instantly erupted with an extremely strong cyan light. Gongsunli, thank you. The armor turned his head to look at the figure standing at the gate, and the corners of his mouth were slightly hooked. Kara. At the same time, the sound of pulling the bolt sounded, and a fiery red light rose into the sky. Faintly, the shadow of a mysterious bird appeared. Hoo hoo. Suddenly, there was another sound of breaking the air, and a silver chain streaked across the sky. Bailey Suins stood next to Bailey Shao Covenant. Brother of the Bailey family, remember this kindness. The two nodded at Gongsunli. And I Sulai. At this moment, a muffled sound sounded, and a tall giant slammed his chest. And on his shoulders, he was carrying a large stone pillar like a mountain. Jiuluo held the longbow in his hand, and Shenmensi adjusted his gloves, all of them smiling gratefully at Gongsunli. Buzz. At the same time, Nuwa seal was finally lowered. Blue light in all directions enveloped the four of them like a cage. Unfortunately, it was only for a moment. Ping. There was a crunch. A few people didn't even move, and Lan Mang was already torn apart, and the momentum on their bodies was climbing rapidly. Woo-ha! Suddenly, there was a sound. But Mulan, who had been silent, pulled out the giant sword she was carrying behind her. The unicorn steps on the auspicious clouds, and it is difficult to eliminate it in the world. Smack! Mulan took 2 steps forward and raised the green giant sword in her hand. Outside the gate, Gongsunli's eyes widened. She knew what was going to happen next. 5 holy beasts. When she was playing the game, she was fascinated by the series of skins. Now, she's about to see it for real. Although it is not necessarily as strong as her, who doesn't want to enjoy this visual feast? And the audience in the live broadcast room was also wide-eyed and full of doubts at this time. I don't know what Mulan means. Huh. The giant sword in Mulan's hand slashed horizontally, and the momentum on her body skyrocketed instantly. Those who are in front of the battle, all march forward in array. Are you all here? Soldiers and generals, stand up for me. Array. Hum. As soon as Mulan's words came out, the entire sky changed color in an instant. It was originally sunny and cloudless, but at this moment, lightning and thunder began to roar. And the most exciting thing is that in the dark clouds, 5 formations slowly appeared. These 5 formations have the same shape, but different colors. Huh. The next moment, Mulan's figure disappeared directly, appearing in the green formation in the middle. Behind her, a green unicorn beast stood with its head held high, as if it was the master of the heavens and the earth. The audience in the live broadcast room was stunned when they saw this scene. However, what surprised them even more was still to come. I saw that the cyan circle next to Mulan lit up, and the figure of a cyan dragon loomed. The formation is in the east. Aim. A dragon chant is not unfamiliar to the ears of the audience in Xia Kingdom. It's just that this time it's a green dragon, the armor is wrapped in armor, and the body is surrounded by green dragons. The light from a pair of eyes was breathtaking, and the most surprising thing was the large exaggerated giant blade in his hand. The formation is in the west. The white tiger obeys the order. Suddenly, another circle of light lit up. There was instant thunder and lightning in the dark clouds, and in that thunder and lightning, there seemed to be a terrifying figure hidden. Roar. With a tiger roar, Bailey Suins rode the white tiger to descend, just like the heavenly general who came to save the world, but he didn't know how many times more powerful than the heavenly general. Array in the south. Suzaku obeys the order. Suddenly, the whole sky was half red, as if it was on fire. Ah! A huge fiery red bird appeared from the flames, and under the beak of this bird, there was an incomparably handsome figure. In his hand, he also held an extremely good-looking spear. The array is in the north. Suin Wu obeys the order. Boom! The entire ground seemed to be bursting with a huge turtle appearing, bringing a mountain-like pressure. And in front of the turtle, a figure, carrying Optimus Prime on his shoulder, shook the whole earth with every step he took. Extremely intimidating. Ward off evil. No one can see it. This scene, not to mention the audience who has never seen it in the live broadcast room. Even Nuwa frowned slightly. This kind of combat power is undoubtedly a bit troublesome for her. But, it's just a nuisance. It's just that the people in the live broadcast room can't sit still. The weapons in the hands of these 5 people. These are the broken weapons that Gongsunli brought back at the Great Wall. Original. It turns out that the Great Wall guards really look like this. Oh my god. No wonder they dare to fight with the true gods. They are gods themselves, right? In our eyes, they are no different from God. But, can you fight it? On the other side are Athena and Nuwa. And that giant, can you really fight? In the live broadcast room, the audience didn't know what to say at all. You said that you looked down on them before and thought it was impossible to fight the true God, but now why can't people fight the true God? Who dares to say that he can't beat this appearance? It's just a question of who is stronger and which is weak. Obviously, there are still many people who know that this can't be beaten. You guys, let's continue to be imprisoned here. Nuwa looked at the 5 people in front of her and said lightly. However, Mulan took a step forward. Today is the day we return to the mainland. Mulan's tone was sonorous and powerful, and the listener nodded straight. Bang. Athena, who was beside Nuwa, suddenly beckoned, and the shield and spear instantly returned to their places. I'm afraid it's not enough for you. Athena licked her lips. 3 true gods, she belonged to the weakest one. But she also knew that Nuwa and Pangu were here, and with 5 people, it was not enough. But the next moment, her expression changed. And what if you add a few of us? A loud female voice sounded and reached everyone's ears. The whole world seemed to be quiet at this moment. But it's only a matter of moments. Standing here is the will of the generations. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 199. The vision caused by the 5 holy beasts had just disappeared, but I didn't expect the vision to appear again in the sky. And this time's vision was not weak at all compared to the previous 5 holy beasts. If the 5 holy beasts before gave people the feeling of being powerful and unstoppable, the vision of the present feels quaint and mysterious. In the distance, the sky seemed to be uncovered, revealing a colorful picture. A great power came out of it. Suddenly, a green light flashed, and then a green mountain came into people's eyes. Seeing this green mountain, many people in the Xiaguo live broadcast room suddenly frowned. Strange. This mountain feels so familiar, as if I've seen it somewhere. Yes, I feel that way, too. What's going on? Parallel worlds. No. I recognize it. This is Tarzan. As soon as these words came out, the entire live broadcast room was stunned, and a more intense discussion immediately broke out. Damn. I say it's so familiar. My home is at the foot of Mount Tai. It's numb. I see it every day. Really? Really? Tarzan. How could Tarzan be in second home? Yes, I've traveled to Tarzan, and it looks like it. In the live broadcast room, many people wiped their eyes and couldn't believe it. However, seeing the identical mountain on the screen, I still put the doubt in my heart for the time being. At this moment, a figure appeared on the mountain. How is Tai Zone? I am the peak you can't surpass. Mount Tai is like a seed. Dian Wei, who was dressed in dark cyan clothes, had cyan clouds flowing behind his head, giving people a feeling of inviolability, and the dark cyan axe in his hand was even more daring to be underestimated. With solid muscles, he stood there, like a mountain, and people didn't dare to look at it directly. and the audience in the live broadcast room was dumbfounded at this time. Tarzan. That's really Tarzan. I just heard that. And who is he? Tarzan's mountain god. I'll go, I'll go, I'll go. This can't all be the gods of our Xia kingdom, right? The atmosphere of the audience in Xiaguo in the live broadcast room was mobilized in an instant. But that's just the beginning. The next moment, a female voice rang out again. As soon as you hear it, you can hear that this female voice is what the person just said. The audience in the live broadcast room first saw a tattered bow, but the next moment, the bow was held by a beautiful little hand. Hongmeng is broken. Geiro's voice was sonorous and powerful. Like her arrows, they go straight to the heart. Maybe 1,000 years from now, someone will leave Assam here. Accumulate the soul of the hero as a mountain, gather all the people to unite as a city. Huashan is indestructible. I saw Jialuo wearing a blue and white skirt, showing the demeanor of the Lord of Huashan. The bow and arrow in his hand, how can he still look a little mottled at this time? The longbow was surrounded by golden light, and it was even a little taller than Geiro's height, enough to imagine the power of this bow. On the top, it is the delicate shoulders that leak outside, which looks a little charming. And there is a light veil on her face, which adds a bit of mystery. However, the blue circle of light circulating behind her was like a whirlpool, setting off the whole person with a fairy temperament. People don't dare to have the slightest crooked mind. Stars in your arms. The next moment, a little purple suddenly appeared in the sky, like a starry sky at night. And in this starry sky, there is a graceful figure. One wishes the world is peaceful, and the other is that the Han River is clear. Hung Mountain is like a line, and the wind is overwhelming. If it is said that Dianwei and Jialuo in the past were solemn and sacred, so that people dare not approach, then the current Zhenji gives people the feeling of being gentle as water. Zhenji looks like a royal sister with a heart. The mood of the audience in the live broadcast room also fluctuated, as if they had been completely immersed in Zhenji's tenderness. It's just that their dreams were quickly shattered. A young man's voice came to their ears, and as soon as they heard it, they knew that this person was not to be messed with. Watch the changes of the clouds, ride the wind. The good defenders hide under the 9 earths, and the good attackers move above the 9 heavens. Hungshan is like flying, looking down on all things. Han Xian's appearance caused another wave of exclamations, because Han Xian was too hungry for young people. Especially when the flames in the hands turn into spears. Many foreign young people in the live broadcast room screamed. Not to mention those students in Xia Kingdom. Moreover, Han Xian also looks more energetic, and his red outfit makes people feel full of vitality and is very capable of fighting. The clouds are gone. Suddenly, a light voice sounded, like a just woke up. The audience in the live broadcast room was stunned. Can they still fall asleep in such a scene? As a result, the next moment, their eyes widened in horror. Kun, a kun so big that it blocks out the sun. With a sense of simplicity and heaviness all over the body, it appeared in people's sights. Kun said there was no need to be afraid, because it was here. Kun said that it was willing to exchange its meager body for a mountain of creatures. Songshan is like a lying, everything is a house. Zhuangzhou sat on top of the giant Kun, as if he hadn't even opened his eyes. His tone, compared to the previous 4, also seemed relatively flat, but it was inexplicably reassuring, as if he was confident. Regret the world, shake the world. Above the sky, 5 mountains stand in shadows, like special effects. But everybody knows that it's not a special effect, it's real. Gongsunli is also watching from herself now. She knows that the formation of these 2 series of skins is very large, but she didn't expect it to be so luxurious. She couldn't help but think of her own skin from the Snow Prayer series. Could it be that I'm not the strongest now? Gongsunli looked at the 10 brilliant figures in the sky, and felt that he was a little low-key. The audience in the live broadcast room was even more dumbfounded at this time. I finally understand why these people dare to fight with the gods, because they are gods themselves. Why do these 5 people in the later correspond to the 5 mountains of our Xia kingdom? There is also the divine beast in front, which is also from our Xia kingdom. But we have never found any trace of them in our Xia kingdom. Are these all gods? The first 5 are the incarnations of divine beasts, and the back 5 are the mountain gods of Wu. My God, do we have so many gods in the Xia kingdom? But, no matter how much, that's Nuwa. In the live broadcast room, the audience couldn't sit still. There are also a lot of foreign audiences, who are still staring at the live broadcast room. Until now, it seemed that only Athena was familiar to them, and it didn't seem to be of very high status. And Xiaoguo actually appeared so many characters comparable to gods at one time. They didn't know what to say for a moment. And at this moment, Nuwa's figure moved. You guys, the simplest and most unpretentious kids I've ever seen. A synthesized sound sounded and reached everyone's ears. Everyone's eyes widened in horror. National Games online game, transform into Gongsunli at the beginning. Author, show your secrets. Chapter 200. Although Nuwa has a preconceived notion in people's hearts. Everyone will think that Nuwa may be very powerful. But after watching the 5 holy beasts and Wu just now, the audience felt that even if Nuwa was powerful, even if she was like a ceiling of combat power, the 5 mountains and the 5 holy beasts are definitely not much different. But now Nuwa is still able to say such things. This undoubtedly surprised people. When Gongsunli heard Nuwa's words, the corners of his mouth twitched. Now that the 5 holy beasts and the 5 mountains have been formed, even if it is Nuwa, even if she can win, it will definitely not be that easy. She didn't know how the combat power here was calculated, though. But apparently, the momentum of the 2 sides has been basically equal. In such a state, it is difficult to distinguish between winning and losing, unless something else happens. It's just that the rise of the 5 holy beasts and the 5 mountains made the heroes on the ground see hope, and their morale was immediately high. Damn. Kill out. After we get back to strength, we're going to kill back. In the crowd, a young man with a mace in his hand and a scar on his face said with a serious expression. Then he glanced up at the direction of the gate. Here, it's not far from the gate, but it's not close. The safest way now is to take advantage of the 10 of them to drag Nuwa and them, and we will kill them out, and after recovering our strength, we will kill them. But it's not easy for us to kill it now. It can't be helped, that's the only way. Don't worry, you forgot, we still have 5 gods of war. In the crowd, the heroes whispered. Yes, the 5 gods of war, unfortunately, their current strength is not 1 in 10. In the crowd, the 5 big men were very eye-catching at this time, and they were the 5 tiger generals. Brothers, as long as we kill and regain our strength, we can help them turn the tide of the war immediately. The heroes looked up at the dozen or so people who were facing each other in the sky and gritted their teeth. Well, how about we help the 5 of them kill them first? Because it's only the 5 of them who are out now, it's the biggest help for us. Suddenly, someone suggested that everyone be quiet. Yes, let's help them break through 5 first, and then these scum can be destroyed in a backhand. Now it seems like that's all there is to it, damn it. I didn't think this waste would one day be a stumbling block for me. The heroes gathered together and looked at the blue-armored soldiers who surrounded them in all directions, and their hearts were not good. What are their identities? In the past, these blue-armored soldiers were not taken seriously by them at all, and coming to 5,000 was the same as coming to 50,000. But now, under the confinement of this space, he is surrounded by these people. It's really aggrieved. All right, time is precious, let's get moving. The heroes glanced at each other. I'll do it first. At this time, suddenly a woman with brown hair walked out, carrying something like a lantern in her hand. Sister. Suddenly, a woman with a ball-combed hair jumped out next to her and glanced worriedly at the woman carrying the lantern. Don't worry, I'll protect her. At this time, a strong man with an anchor in his hand also walked out. At the same time, he turned his attention to the 5 tiger generals. 5 brothers, remember to follow me in a moment. Thank you. The 5 tiger generals saluted the heroes one after another. Big Joe. The brown-haired woman saw that she was almost there, and walked out. In the expectant gaze of the heroes, he slowly raised the lantern in his hand. The next moment, a voice like a song and a cry came out of her mouth. At this time, they didn't hear each other. May the moon shine on you. The wild goose flies long, and the light is not enough. Ichthyosaurus diving. Water, Chang, when. Suddenly, the whole heaven and earth seemed to be filled with water vapor at once. Look. Look. There's water coming out of the ground. Some sharp-eyed viewers in the live broadcast room noticed something wrong at the first time. I saw that in front of the woman, a waterway dozens of meters long was slowly forming. AHH. And some of the blue-armored soldiers couldn't dodge it, so they sank directly into the water. At this time, Nuwa in the sky naturally found out that something was wrong. Athena. Go. Nuwa gave an order, and Athena was about to kill Dichiao with a spear in hand, but was blocked by a tall figure. Your opponent is here, where do you want to go? Bang. With a muffled sound, Sulai's Optimus Prime appeared in front of Athena's eyes. Athena looked at the widening waterway below and couldn't help but frown. There is silence in the tide of forgotten names. They drowned in a bubble of their own passion. The ethereal voice sounded again, and by this time, the waterway in front of Dichiao had already formed, and even fish could be seen swimming inside. The encirclement of the blue-armored soldiers was actually opened out of a way in this way. Dichiao glanced back at the person behind him, his expression a little tired. Let's swim against the current. Zhu Li's lips opened lightly, as if puffing up, and Dichiao roared. At this time, Sun Ce jumped out at the right time. Do what you can, break the waves. Crackle. Immediately, a large boat appeared on the newly formed water. And Sun Ce was standing at the bow of the boat with the anchor in his hand, and in his other hand, he was holding a figure, which was Dichiao. It's just that Dichiao looks a little weak at this time. Come up, let's go. Sun Ce waved at the 5 tiger generals, and the 5 of them immediately jumped onto the boat. Please. Sun Ce nodded at the other heroes, and the big ship immediately started moving at a very fast speed. With the support of Dichiao's waterway, there was a phantom. At this time, the blue-armored soldiers who had outflanked him were too late to stop him. However, Dichiao's waterway did not last long before it slowly disappeared, and the blue-armored soldiers surrounded the other heroes again. Damn, let's kill. Don't be afraid, the 5 tiger generals have already gone out, and we will be saved soon. Soon, there were bursts of screams in the field. Hoo-hoo. Sun Ce's ship was speeding towards the direction of the gate, and some of the blue-armored soldiers who were blocking the front of the ship were embarrassed by the impact. However, there are too many of them, and there are pursuers behind them. Obey the object you should obey. Suddenly, Nuwa's voice sounded, with a hint of murder in her tone. Sun Ce frowned suddenly. Not only Sun Ce, but even the heavenly saintless beasts and we also had solemn expressions at this time. Oh no! She's going to teleport. Stop her. For a while, countless swords rushed towards Nuwa's body. However, it was too late. At the gate, a blue light flashed, and Nuwa's figure had appeared. I saw Nuwa with her arms raised in front of her chest at this time, and the light flickered. Her eyes were fixed on the big ship heading in this direction. Thou maybe. The creator is here.